Hi, welcome to Cruise Day Fun. My name is Joy and this is my husband Dan.
Hey! So today we're going to talk about cruise mistakes that we have made.
What? We're not perfect?
No, nobody's perfect. And maybe you can learn from our experience, learn from our mistakes. Here's some cruise mistakes we've made. Going back to our very first cruise nearly 10 years ago.
Wow, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah. When I was booking our cruise, I thought we'll want to be near all the excitement, the center of activity, the Lido deck.
That makes sense.
Sure. So, a fewer steps back and forth to our room. So I got us a balcony cabin right below the Lido deck, which ended up not being the best choice. It was fine, but another room probably would have been better because while there wasn't a lot of noise from our balcony, we couldn't hear the pool deck activity really. When we were in our cabin, we would hear the chairs from around the pool above our heads, scraping and scooting around, particularly early in the morning when they were setting them back up for the day. So if you're not sure, learn from our mistake. Look into a travel agent's opinion on what a good cabin would be for you, or watch our video we've made where we talk about what we've learned about where the best cabin would be for you, depending on what you're looking for. I'll put a link above for that. Another mistake we've made.
Another mistake is planning an excursion in every port.
Oh, yeah.
So when we were in Alaska, we had planned an excursion for every port. And it was exhausting because we were so exhausted that we had to skip one of our cruise ports because we were just so exhausted.
We enjoyed the excursions we did, but it was just too much.
So we just learned that choose one excursion or two excursions that are your must-haves. So then you can enjoy the ports if you want to do some window shopping or just walking around.
Sometimes it can even be nice just to stay on the ship, especially if it's a port you've been to before.
Exactly.
We skipped that last port and skipped that excursion. Fortunately, it wasn't a really expensive one, but maybe be aware that you don't have to do an excursion in every single port.
There's no rule saying that you have to do an excursion at every port.
No. So another mistake that I made is I made a rash purchase when we were in Mexico at Chichen Itza, the Mayan ruins there. Very hot day, very spread out, very sunny, and I wanted a hat to protect my noggin, my nearly hairless noggin. And so you can see from this picture here that the hat I got, the souvenir cap, was only $5, but based on how it fits me and how it fitted me, because I no longer have it, I think it might have been a kid's hat, or it was meant for someone with a much smaller head, maybe a lady. But, buyer beware, be cautious when you go out buying stuff, because we passed up the option to buy other hats at that point. And once I put that hat on, not a good fit.
And remember, don't feel pressured to buy something just to buy something. It's your vacation, and you make sure that you take time to really consider your purchases.
That's right. What's another mistake we've made?
Well, I have overpacked. God forbid. Yes, I've overpacked.
We both have.
So you end up packing like all these clothes and all these things that you think you may need, and you find out that you only use half of the clothes that you use.
But what's wrong with that? What's the big deal about having a lot of stuff to choose from on the cruise?
Well, the problem is then you don't have room for keepsakes or souvenirs that you may want, and then that will weigh your bag down, and you may end up paying for that extra weight when you go on an airplane. You know.
And on one of our cruises, we ended up doing what you may have done before too on a vacation. We bought another suitcase because we didn't have enough room in the ones we brought because we had overpacked so much. So maybe be aware that you don't overpack and leave some room for extra items for your return. Speaking of overpacking, this is actually an occasion where I overpacked when we were returning from the cruise. I purchased a big bottle, a liter of whiskey, and I packed it, I thought carefully, but not carefully enough in my suitcase. And The extra weight meant that I had to pay extra to get my bag on the airplane because it was an overweight bag at that point. All for very minimal savings on a bottle of whiskey. And when I got home and opened it up, you may have already guessed it, the bottle had shattered in the suitcase, drenching my clothes and all my other belongings in that suitcase with the lovely scent of whiskey. So be careful what you're packing, and learn from my mistake. Maybe packing a bottle of whiskey in your checked baggage on an airplane, not the best option.
Yeah. And another thing is you can plan too many activities on the cruise ship itself. Yeah. Cruise ships are wonderful. They have lots of activities going on 24/7, mm-hmm. but you don't want to do so many activities that you exhaust yourself.
Right.
Because remember, this is your cruise and your vacation, and you want to have fun and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is kind of similar to booking too many excursions. Don't overdo it. What we typically like to do is all the cruise lines give out their daily schedule of events and give you information on the foods available and everything else. Like on Carnival, it's what the fun times.
Right.
And what we'll do is a lot of times Joy will bring a highlighter and we'll go through it in the morning while we're eating our breakfast, or having our coffee or whatever before we leave the cabin, and highlight the things that we want to do during that day. And if you do that, like we did, you'll find out that you end up highlighting some things that conflict with other things. And so during the day, you have to make choices. Yep.
If you want to really do the Harry Potter trivia versus the Friends trivia, or just...
That was a choice we had to make. So also keep in mind, you might be able to go through and do a lot of those activities and wear you out so much that the activity you really wanted to do later in the day, you're just too tired for. So prioritize. Be sure you know which are the key ones you want to do during the day. So, a little planning. Yep. Another mistake that we've made, fortunately we've done pretty well at it, but on one occasion I can think of, we failed to make a reservation for a specialty restaurant that we wanted to go to. And unfortunately, once I got around to doing it, it was already booked up.
Aww.
It sometimes happens where these specialty restaurants are actually completely booked up by the time people get on the cruise.
Really?
Make your reservation. It can happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Make your reservations before you go on the cruise if they offer that option, which a lot of times they do, so you have that reserved. Otherwise, you might be disappointed and you might have to go with a second option. Yeah.
So comment below and let us know what you think about our video.
Yeah. And
give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video.
Yeah. And please share any mistakes that you might have made. If you're willing to share your experiences, maybe it'll help somebody else out and help them to avoid doing the same. We really appreciate all of you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you want to be notified when we have a new video, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.